Alright, are you ready? Last page, last part. Are you ready to? I think you're ready. Let's do it. 58. This is, what is the slope of this hill? One of my fellow teachers said, how do you find the slope of a curve? Which is true, that's like calculus. But so what we're really doing is approximating a slope. We're making the slope appear like it's a straight line. All right, so if you really want to be a stickler, it's the slope changes. But this one, we're just saying the slope from here to here, the average slope, and that's basically change in y over change in x, rise over run, and that would be just 15 over 87. That's it. Is that the answer? Well, you know what's this thing I was saying about threes? I look at 15. Does 3 go into 15? Oh yeah, I know, 5 times. But does 3 go into 87? Well, I think so, because 8 plus 7 equals 15. And does 3 go into 15? Yeah, it goes in 5 times. So that means 3 goes into 87. How many times? Oh, we're just going to have to see. So I'm going to divide the top by 3, divide the bottom by 3. And like I said, top is 5. That's easy. The bottom, not so obvious. It almost goes in 30 if it was 90. Why, it goes in 29 times. Because that's what 3 times 29 is. And that's your slope. What if you left it as 15 over 87? Well, that means you know what you're doing. You just didn't take care of your fraction, didn't reduce it. So if you could turn into a decimal. If you just did 15 divided by 87, it would be a decimal. But that's not really what we do for slopes. So I think previous question we actually said find the grade where you turn it into a percent. But that's not the question here. That's in the next question, which is, so for 59, what you got to do, they tell you, it's a story problem. A motorcycle daredevil is planning to a stunt. He's planning a stunt to perform at a county fair. A ramp must be built to give him a 20% grade or slope. So this slope here, up and over, has got to be 20%. So he knows how long this is, 25 feet. That's how long the length of the ramp. We got to figure out how high this to go up. So here's the thing. M is equal to 20%, which is 20 out of 100. That's really what the slope is. Every time you go up 20, you go over 100. Let's reduce that. Can we? 2 over 10. It's actually a slope of 1/5. It's the same thing as 20%. Now I want that 1/5. I'm going to set up a little ratio proportion thing. I want to know, well, what happens if it's 25 feet? If it goes 1 foot for every 5 feet, how far does it go for 25 feet? So it's one of those things you can cross multiply. You can just look at the bottom and say, oh, I got to see. I got to multiply this by 5. I multiply the top by 5. So you can see x is 5. That's how high up it is. Just like that. You can see that. So this is 5. Is it feet? Feet it is. So, I mean, otherwise, again, you could have just cross multiplied. If we got 1/5 is equal to x over 25, do that multiplication thing. Cross multiply. We go 5x equals 25 times 1. X is equal to 5. A lot of people know how to do that. You may not know why you do it, but woo, that didn't work. Let's make it a little stretchier. There's your answer. Cool, 5 feet. That's how high it is. Alright. Oh my gosh, we're getting there. We are getting there. Yeah, it's number 60. Back to y-intercept slope y equals mx plus b. And they just gave us the information. Find the equation of a line. It's right there. It's all about y equals mx plus b, which is the beauty of that form. It tells you what the line looks like just from the equation. We know 5 goes in the m spot. We know minus 2 goes in the b spot, because that's what y-intercept means. Bring down the y, bring down the x. There you go. You could put a plus, a minus, which I don't like to do. I'm just going to write minus. That's your answer. Could it be any easier? Probably, but that's it. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. We've got 2 more problems. Next, 61. This is another y equals mx plus b. This one you got to do a little more work. Can't just plug it in, because they don't give us either the slope nor the y-intercept. This here is the x-intercept. That doesn't help us. Well, we can find the slope. That's the old subtractor. So you get, I'll start with the second y, minus 4 minus 0. That was easy. Then start with the second x, 5, take away negative 2. Just got to be careful about these here negative deals. So that becomes plus 2. So on top we got minus 4 over 7. That's the slope. Not a beautiful slope, just in terms of it's a fraction. It's not the nicest fraction, but you know you're sloping down. If you're really stuck, graph those points. Minus 2, 0, 5 minus 4, and then you'll see, oh, it is going down. Then you can count the points. It's the same thing as subtracting, like counting. All right, we're halfway there. So we got our slope. We have to find the y-intercept. They didn't give us that. Again, you can graph it and see where it goes through y. Maybe it's a whole number, maybe it isn't. I'm looking at this, it probably isn't. But let's just plug it in. So we got our y equals mx plus b. We know the m, minus 4/7. Now our job is to find the b. Which one you want to plug in? Negative 2, 0 or 5 minus 4? It doesn't matter. But this guy's definitely easier. One of the ones is 0. So let's put in the minus 2 there. I'm going to put it over 1 since it's going to be dealing with this slopey guy. I don't know what b is. I know what y is, though. It's 0. This is similar to that other problem we did. Again, this is the algebraic way where you work with the slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b form. There is another form of the line that my math lab uses. Again, I don't like to use it, so I'm not going to. So minus 4/7 times minus 2 is positive 8/7. Cool. Plus b equals 0. Well, that means b equals negative 8/7. Because that's how that works. Holy moly. Well, there's one of your answers. That's not your whole answer yet, because the question says, what is the equation of the line? It did say if possible. The only reason why it's if possible, like slope-intercept form, if it's a vertical line, because then you can't write it, because it goes straight up and down, the slope is infinite. But this one has a real slope, it's got a y-intercept, it's good to go. Let's just put it in its own equation. Y equals y equals mx plus b, and we just found out that the slope, well, we didn't just find out, we knew that, but the y-intercept is plus 8/7. And there you have it. Alright, you ready for the last problem? We'll see. Oops, not ready yet. Minus. Here, let's make it blue. Let's get rid of that plus here. There was a minus sign I let slip away. Yeah, you gotta be careful about that. Don't I? Don't all of us? Alright, that's your answer. And here we go, the last problem. And of course, for the last problem, it's the doozy. It's the hardest one, just to try to figure out what the heck they're talking about. So, the thing they wrote is being lowered at a constant rate. When you hear constant rate, that means it's linear, which means it's a y equals mx plus b deal. After 11 minutes, it's at 300 feet, and it's being lowered at a constant rate, so that after 30 minutes, it's 1900 feet. So, normally I would say this is a negative thing because it's going down, but they're talking about it in terms of lowering. So since they're saying what's the rate of it lowering, we can still deal with it as a positive number. So the way to do this is just think of these as 2 points. 11,300 and 30,1900. That's time and distance. And they're saying, what's the average rate? Which, when you're talking rate, you're talking slope. And what is the slope of this? That's really what they're saying. So just do your slope. What's the big deal? 1900 minus 300. Subtract the y's. Doink, doink. And the thing again about this, I don't know if again, I don't think I made it clear enough, is when you subtract the y's, you got to subtract the x's underneath. Same order. If you started with this guy, you better start with that one, otherwise you're going to flip it around. So, 30, no, I don't want green, let's stay blue. 30 minus 11. Then you just work that slope. That looks like 1600 over 19. Now that's your rate, 1600 feet every 19 minutes. You know what? That's a valid answer. That's fine. If you want to be more specific, because what is that? What the heck does that equal to? You bring out your trusty calculator and you get 84.2. I've rounded it to the nearest tenth, just on my own. And what does that mean? Well, it lowers 84 feet per minute. Per min. What do you think about that? It's like miles per hour, except it's feet per minute. So is that fast? I don't know. It's kind of slow, probably. But, you know, underwater, deep sea diving bell. I don't know if you've ever been in one. I never have. So there you go. There you go. You are done with the final review. Can you believe it? So if you can remember everything here and keep that forward, understand it, you carry it over to the final, you are good to go. And it's an opportunity. Woo! That's what you get. So I suppose you should save the big celebration when you've actually taken your final. But take it with you. You know, if you follow what's going on, it's a lot of different stuff. You can do it. You're on it. So good luck, and I'll see you around. Thanks for listening.